Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. This is M, CEO of the Soul Focus Group. Just got through doing my workout for this morning, my walk, my run, my weights, my weightlifting. Listen, it is so highly important that you take care of your body from the inside out. You know, that means monitoring your diet, making sure you eat enough vegetables, making sure you maybe even, participate in intermittent fasting. I do that. What I do is I eat. I don't eat till after 12 noon, and before 7 is when my last meal happens. So I eat basically one meal a day, and some people may think that's a little crazy, but it has worked to help keep the things that have been activated in my family, like high blood pressure and diabetes. It's been helped to keep it at bay because I do intermediate fasting. I don't eat till afternoon. So that means when I get up in the morning, I don't eat till after 12 noon. And then I eat a real meal before 7. So I try not to eat after anything after 7. That's a no-no, because then you're going to bed. I would be going to bed with food on my stomach, and which is not good for your stomach. Your stomach wants to rest, and which is a good thing. You go to bed at night, you're gonna dream less, have less horror dreams when your stomach doesn't have to work on digesting food while you're sleeping. Anyway, so as everybody knows, as you should know by now from tuning into my videos, I'm the CEO of the Soul Focus Group, and I'm so satisfied, not just satisfied like I'm finished, but just so happy with what we are achieving at the Soul Focus Group, because we are not just training companies and organizations on how to deal with issues related to race and gender and class and all that stuff, but we have shifted, and our focus is more on human solidarity. Because human solidarity is actually the solution to racism. Racism was developed to interfere with and prevent human solidarity. How about that? To all of those social justice workers and all those social justice leaders and social conscious leaders, we know the history of the U.S. And the history of the U.S. was the idea of racism was actually created by the bourgeoisie, or by the ones at the top 1%. In order to prevent people from coming together cross-racially. So racism was the perfect strategy to sow division, to sow disunity. So for years, even though we knew that was not our focus. Our focus is talking more about racism and not about the solution to racism. So now we focus more on the solution to racism. So there are some people who still need to understand what racism is. Believe it or not, there are some people who still don't understand what it is, or even believe that it's real. And that's cool, because we understand the groundwater. We understand what's in the groundwater. When I say groundwater, I'm talking about we understand what's in the subconscious programming of people. That people have been subconsciously programmed since they were knee-high to a duck, coming out of their mother's wombs, to believe certain things and to not see certain things. And it came natural to them. What I mean by natural, not natural in the sense of nature made racism. No, it didn't. The programming, when a child is born into the world is already in motion. The world already has rules and regulations that it's abiding by. It already has laws. Things are being done in a certain way. As a child, you have no clue what the certain way is. You don't know what the rules are. You don't know about any of that stuff. So you rely on your parents and the adults around you to school you. Now here's where the problem comes in. Because whatever problems that the adults have, they're going to school you to do things basically in the same way or similar way, which almost guarantees that you're going to end up experiencing some of the same conditions as your parents did, because they teach it to you in their patterns, habits, and behaviors. So what ends up happening, we call that stuff the groundwater, because that's all that stuff is in your subconscious programming. And if the subconscious programming isn't transformed, if it remains the same, you're likely to walk the exact same path, not see the same things your parents didn't see, and end up in the same place your parents ended up at, not because you didn't have the potential to do greater, and it's not because your parents didn't want you to do greater, just that what you were socialized into, what you were programmed into, did not allow it, right? So what we do is we help people to break through that, you know, that groundwater that's like toxic, that has you to believe, first of all, that you're not good enough. Because see, before racism could break us up with each other cross-racially and cross-culturally, it had to break us up first with ourselves. Literally, racism had to break us up with ourselves. You say, what? That don't even make sense, Madhi. How do you break a person up with themselves? Well, you get them to compete with themselves, and you get them to believe that competing with themselves is a good thing. Now, how many of you listening to this video, listen to my voice, actually believe that competing with yourself is a good thing? I know I've talked to a whole bunch of you. I've traveled around this country for over 30 years, and I've spoken to a lot of people about this exact same thing. And people will say, well, it's a good thing to compete against yourself. All right, stop for a minute and tell me, if you're competing with yourself, who wins? Because that means there's a split in you. If you're competing with yourself, there's a split. One part of you is fighting against or competing against another part of you. So if regardless of what part wins, you don't win, because there's always be a conflict in you. See, competing with yourself means there's a conflict of interest in yourself, which means you are not on the same page with yourself. Now, so that's what we were taught to compete with ourselves. And for years, I used to say it all the time, my greatest competition is me. And it was. I was the person who was getting in my way more than anyone else. No one knew my plans. No one knew what I was about to do except me. So each time I wasn't able to achieve the things I wanted to achieve was more than likely because I was tripping myself up. I was getting in my own way. This is what I learned from digging into the science of human solidarity and human connection technology. I've learned that I'm at my best when I'm cooperating with myself, when I'm compassionate to myself, when I'm patient with myself, when I'm stern with myself, and I'm getting myself to see what I need to see in order to get done what I need to get done. See, being in cooperation with yourself does not mean at all that you letting yourself off the hook. It doesn't mean you're being hard on yourself. It means that you're being what you need to be to get yourself to be what you need to be. So you don't need you to throw you under the bus. You don't need you to find fault in you. You don't need you to look at everything that you're doing wrong. What you need is encouragement from you. What you need is to be on your own side. And listen, I almost forgot. I don't know how I almost forgot that, because we say to people that in order for you to create human solidarity, you must first create self-solidarity. And self-solidarity is when you are in harmony with you, or such that when you are 100% on your own side. What does that mean? That means you are giving 100% of yourself to yourself so you can give 100% of yourself to everything else in your life that you want to give 100% to. And you are totally different at 100% on your own side. You are totally different, not throwing yourself under the bus. You are totally different when you see yourself, the beauty and the intelligence in yourself, and you acknowledge that within yourself. You are totally different. Life occurs to you totally different when you are that person who will go the extra mile for you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going the extra mile for other people, because there is not. I've done it on many occasions. But there's something wrong with going the extra mile for everyone else, but not for yourself. There's something wrong with thinking that you could save other people and you can't solve your own problems in your own life. There is definitely something wrong with that. As leaders, most of us spend a lot of time focused on everybody else. We know what everybody else needs to do to correct themselves. We know what everybody else needs to do to be successful. But when it comes to ourselves, we get kind of lost and we get caught up in the fog. The reality is, until you know how to transform you, there's no way you are going to be able to participate in transforming any systems and institutions externally. Because there are systems and institutions within ourselves that need to be transformed first. Follow me and I'll show you what those systems and institutions are within yourself. I'm M, CEO of the Soul Focus Group. Thank you for listening. Love you. Peace.